So today for the video of how to make a paper template for your coil pot construction, I'm going to start with my drawing from yesterday where I drew my pot, and I'm just going to draw a line down the middle of it. The reason is we're going to be creating a paper template kind of like a Valentine's heart. You're going to be drawing half of the pot onto the template paper, then we'll eventually cut it out, and when it comes out it will unfold and you'll have both halves symmetrically drawn on your template paper. So that's what I would do first. Take the drawing you did yesterday, your final drawing, draw a line down the middle so you kind of know what half of the pot looks like. Then you're going to take your template paper and you're just going to fold that in half like so. Okay, and then I would like you to label it. On the folded side I want you to write an F. The other sides I would like you to write O. So we are going to make a margin on the sides that have the O, but not on the side that has the F. So I have a margin tool, which is just another little piece of paper. I'm going to line this up right on the edge, and I'm just going to trace a line on the margin and just make that all the way around on the sides that say O. So you can see where it says F, I don't have a margin. Okay. Now when I look at my drawing, I'm trying to gauge how far does it go from the center to the edge there. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it's about like this. And then that same distance it goes from the edge at the top. That keeps my proportions nice, like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the curve that goes up, and then I might draw another curve that goes from there to the top, or I might use a straight line. It just depends on what the shape of my line is. Sometimes I need a straight edge, sometimes I need something curved. So I'm going to start with something that has a nice curve to it. And I'm going to use a roll of tape. You could use a bowl, something. We have a whole bunch of bowls on the shelf right by the kiln room door. There are various containers under the sink that you could trace around for various size curves. If you have a really small curve, you can even use something. If you have a little tiny curve that you need to make, you could use something like a quarter or another coin, something small that you could trace around. I highly recommend you don't freehand the drawing. I think it works so much better if you get a nice smooth curve. So I recommend that you use something else. Alright, I'm going to trace this roll of tape. My focus may go out for a second, but I'm lining up the tape with my mark here at the bottom and the edge of my margin right here. So I'm just tracing a line around it. Alright, so there's my first line. Now to get from here up to there, I could try it with a straight edge and just connect those two together, line it right up with the edge. But I feel like my original drawing is a little more curvy. So I think on this curve, I think I'm going to try something that's not quite straight, and that would be a larger circle. So I'm going to see what it looks like if I lay this on my line and see if I like the look of it. So again, you may have to try this a few times to see until you get the right kind of curve that you want. So I could connect that one, and I think that one looks a little bit closer to my original. Alright, and you can see how it has a nice smooth curve and it just joins right into this other curve because I lined those two things up, and then I'm going to ignore this little extra piece later when I cut it out. So that's basically how you draw it. So you may need your straight edge, you may need various other circular shapes to get the right curves for the pot you design. If you had a part of it that goes back out, then you would trace it like maybe you'd put this here and draw a line this way rather than curving in. So if yours curves out, that's where you may need to use like a little coin or something here, and you would trace a line that goes this way. If you have a little like of a neck and it flares out to the lip, you may have the same thing down here at the bottom where you need to trace a little curve down here to get whatever your design is. So you'll have to just sort of be inventive of what tool to use to get the right curve, and you may have to try it a few times. So if you totally mess this one up, which might happen, flip it over, do your margins again, try it again. And if you mess it up after that, you can also unfold it, try it a third time, and hopefully not, but even a fourth time. We're not going to cut it out today, we're just going to draw it. And once you're finished with your drawing and you're happy with how you've got your margin set up, you can see it goes from the bottom to the top margin and it goes out to the side margin, and that's going to give you the size of the pot I want you to make. So if yours is a lot shorter or it's not very wide and it's just this tiny little pot, that's not going to be big enough. So you want to fill up the space inside the margin. When you're finished, put your name on it. I would write top and bottom, just so we don't get confused. Some pots, maybe I'd get confused and think that I made this pot instead. But this is the one that I designed, and that's the one that I want to build. So we will check these over when we see each other again on block day, and then I will show you how to cut these out properly. But just have your template drawn and ready to go for Thursday. Sorry to be Wednesday.